Hello, my name is Nick Deborah. I'm an independent instructor and best-selling author in the fields of data visualization and dashboard design. And in this short video, I just wanted to do a little kind of chart makeover to talk mostly about how to choose colors that are meaningful to our users. And so I recently came across this chart. It's a chart that I think is updated once a year. It's by a cybersecurity firm called Hive Systems. And it basically shows essentially how easy it is for a hacker to crack passwords with different numbers of characters and also with different types of characters, just numbers, numbers and letters, uppercase, lowercase, symbols, etc. And so, of course, shorter passwords that have a kind of lower variety of characters are easier to crack than ones that have more characters or a wider variety of characters. And so this is a very effective piece of viral marketing. It seems to pop up in my social media feeds fairly often. But I do think that the color choices could be potentially improved, right? There are some things that maybe aren't ideal. Like, for example, the shortest times, cracking times are in purple, which seems to be, I guess, like a worse problem than red, but that doesn't seem to be, sort of a convention that I'm aware of, anyways. And we have values like, for example, a password that takes 4 seconds to crack. It has the same color as a password that takes a year to crack. But I would think that I'd be way more concerned if my password could be cracked in 4 seconds than if it took a year. And so those are kind of qualitatively different values. So they should probably have different colors. And we have values like 161 years or like 9,000 years that are in orange, which kind of suggests that these are values that I should be concerned to some degree about. But am I really concerned if it takes 161 years to crack my password? That's probably fine, probably not something I really have to worry about. And in fact, all of the values which are in orange or yellow or green in this chart are essentially the same, right? They're essentially uncrackable within any kind of reasonable amount of time. And so then it kind of begs the question. So like, well, why are they in different colors if they essentially mean kind of the same thing? And so I think this is kind of a good opportunity to talk about, well, the fact that when we're choosing colors, we want to think about what those colors should mean to somebody, in this case, who is choosing a password. And so I think that really there are only kind of three sort of categories that people should care about when they're choosing a password. The first would be passwords that are vulnerable to a batch attack. And so this would be a password where if it's leaked in one of these massive password leaks that we unfortunately hear about so often, where there are thousands or hundreds of thousands of passwords that are leaked. I mean, really, if your password can be cracked in a few hours or less, then it's going to be vulnerable to that kind of attack. And then you have passwords that are vulnerable to a targeted attack. And so this is where somebody is basically targeting you specifically, and they're prepared to wait a while to crack your password, maybe even up to a few months. And then we have pretty much everything else, which would be secure, right? Realistically, if it takes more than a few months to crack your password, there aren't a lot of hackers who are going to wait that long. And even if they did wait that long, you would probably be changing your password in the meantime. If you had something that was that valuable to protect, you're probably changing your password fairly often. And so, like I said, there are really only kind of three categories of values, I think. And so I think in our chart, it kind of makes sense to just have three colors. So I've chosen sort of dark red for passwords that can be cracked as part of a leaked batch of passwords, light red for ones that could be cracked by a dedicated attack, like somebody is trying to target you specifically, and then everything else, which is basically passwords that just can't be cracked within a reasonable amount of time, so you don't have to worry. And so we now have colors that I think are more meaningful to users, with, of course, clear explanations of what those colors actually represent. And then values that have the same meaning have the same color. So basically everything that is white is just uncrackable. And it doesn't really make much of a difference whether it takes 3 years or, 19 quadrillion years. That's effectively the same. It's just, not crackable within a reasonable amount of time. And we have our important values drawing attention. And so these are the types of passwords that you should be concerned about, right? That would be vulnerable to attacks. And with these kinds of passwords, basically, they don't require attention because you just wouldn't need to do anything. You'd be fine with passwords that had that many characters or that wide a variety of characters. So, like I said, really the main takeaway here is when you're choosing colors, always think about what the colors should mean to the audience and then choose colors based on that rather than just looking strictly at the values themselves. By the way, I'm currently running a Black Friday sale as I record this on November 29th. And so for the next couple of days, you can get 25% off on my Practical Charts on Demand course or on any of my books by visiting my website, practicalreporting.com. Thanks very much for watching.